Hello everyone, Happy New Year's. I'm Charlotte Hohenstein and you're watching Breakthrough News on BTR today. Today we're talking about the atomic life of our bodies, how we're interconnected with all the chemicals around us and our planet Earth. And with me to discuss this lovely theme of renewal for the New Year's is Kurt Steger, a professor at Paul Smith's College, ecologist, paleoclimatologist, and author of a new book out. I have to say that again now because I completely blanked. I'm so sorry. Excuse me one second.
Your atomic self.
Sorry?
It's your atomic self.
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
You got the paleoclimate?
Yeah, I got that in. I snuck it in there. Anyway, okay, I'll start again. Sorry. Bear with me. Hi everyone, Happy New Year's. I'm Charlotte Hohenstein and you're watching Breakthrough News on BTR today. Today we're talking about the atomic lives of our bodies, how we're absolutely chemically interconnected with the planet around us. It's a nice theme for the New Year's, theme of renewal. With me to discuss is Dr. Kurt Steger, professor at Paul Smith's College, author of the recent book, Your Atomic Self. He's also an ecologist and a paleoclimatologist. Thank you, Kurt, for joining me today to talk about this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So you recently published this book, Your Atomic Self, the invisible elements that connect you to everything else in the universe. What inspired you to write this?
It's a lifelong passion. My work I study connections between living things and the earth for my profession. So it's sort of natural for me to think about it in nerdy terms, but to really bring it down to the here and now, kind of to feel it a little bit more is more of a struggle, and so that was sort of what inspired me to do it through the years, and just try to make it feel like these invisible parts of ourselves are really parts of our lives.
So kind of take it out of the cerebral abstract ideas and actually into your daily experience of your life.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's in some ways a wake-up call to people in terms of the importance of not polluting and, feeling a sense of responsibility towards how we treat our planet, but one that is very much in scientific terms about our interconnectedness? Because I think you hear that kind of language a lot, right? But actually putting it in scientific terms is...
Yeah, absolutely. Most of my research has to do with climate change, and I deal with trying to get people to understand that invisible gases that we release when we burn fossil fuels actually affect the planet, but it's hard to really get that because you can't see them. So I kind of feel like this is the next step in my outreach and my research to try to, first of all, let myself find out how to do this, but to also help other people realize that this invisible world is real. And it literally does connect us to the entire planet. And literally, the way we live our lives affects people all over the world and the planet itself, and will do so for centuries.
So it's very much about the atmosphere, right? Or is it more than that as well? Or is your focus the atmosphere and this sense of breath and the gases around us?
Well, I started with the atmosphere part. It's about everything from stars to planets to fossils and everything like that. But basically, the atmosphere is a good place to start because most of our body is made from it, really. If you sort of analyzed the little components, the atomic components of your body, you're about 2/3 water. Well, that's water vapor that was floating around in the clouds and just fell out of the air at some point, and then you eventually drank it or ate it. And then the carbon part of your body, maybe about 1/5 of it, let's say, your body is carbon atoms. That was carbon dioxide that came out of the air into plants, went through the food chains, ended up on your dinner plate, and then is literally becoming you. So you can kind of see that, when you event away, you're going to return to the atmosphere as well, almost like this spirit of atoms drifting off into the air in the form of CO2 and water.
So I guess what I'm very curious about is, because what you're describing is, you say, it sounds like, and you've said in some of your articles that even just the water component of your body is inanimate, and so really technically most of your body is dead. So how do you understand life?
Yeah, I wish I totally understood it. That's part of the problem. We're made of these dead things. We're made of air, water, and dirt, and yet we're us. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. I'm not even sure the human mind is meant to grasp it all. But one thing I try to do to get a hold of this is think like a musician, which I also am, and try to think of it in terms of music. What is life? You know, it's almost like, well, music is a bunch of sounds, right? Little noises and sound waves you make in the air. And if it's just random, you don't think much of it. But if you arrange it in a certain way, it becomes a melody, a recognizable melody that can evoke feelings and transmit, you know, things to other people. So I kind of feel almost like we're that same way, where our inanimate kind of random jumbling atoms work together almost like a band making music together. That is what we are.
An orchestra of millions and millions and millions and millions of instruments.
Yeah. It's easier to say what it's like than to say what life is, really.
Right. So, in terms of, you know, on having this atomic understanding of yourself, how does it change the way that you live day to day?
Well, one thing that happens is if you think of us as social animals, you know, social primates, we evolved because we know how to interact with each other, and we work well in groups a lot of the time anyway. So one of the important things that affects how we interact with each other and where we live is if we feel a connection to it. If you feel like you're kin, you treat somebody differently. If a place is your home and you're a part of it, you take better care of it, or, you know, you just treat it differently from a strange place. And so I feel like there's an important emotional, almost primal result of seeing that science can demonstrate that we are physically connected to every other living person on the planet, every other species, and to the Earth itself. We're literally elementally kin. And so I think if you can let that sink in any way you can, whether it's with nerdy science like I like to do or other ways, I think it builds up into this sort of it sort of changes who you are and what you think your place in the world is. And today, with the world so crowded with people, our technology so powerful, and with us being so connected, the way we think and act and live our lives is almost geological in scope, and we become a force of nature. So I think this kind of thing's fun. You know, think about breathing the air that dinosaurs breathed or Leonardo da Vinci breathed, but it's also really important to be able to let that sink in and see what it means.
Well, I love that phrase, elementally kin. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back in a moment after this quick excerpt from Live Studio on BTR TV featuring Ages and Ages. We'll be right back. Music break, music break. I think what I'm gonna cut this and send you a new link, because I think also sometimes it's like for some reason the longer the clip, it kind of like slows down. So I'm just going to send you a new link for the second half, if that's okay.
Sure. So I'll just close it out and you just send me another link, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to send you. I'm just going to stop the broadcast and it'll shut out, and then I'll send you a new link. Okay.